Hey everybody, today we're going to be taking a brief look at an early Spider-Man Web of Shadows prototype called Spider-Man 3 RVB. It's not a complete look at every single thing in the build, but it is a list of some things that I thought were interesting to show off. Basically everything you see on the screen here we're going to take a look at in this video. So I recorded this footage ahead of time, and I'm kind of narrating it after the fact, just because I figured it'd be easier than playing and talking at the same time. So we're just going to go ahead, jump into this, and take a look at some things. So obviously it looks a lot like Spider-Man 3. The model is different. You can see the UI and stuff looks like it's from Spider-Man 3, but this is a very early prototype model. You can see the retail Web of Shadows model on screen for comparison, and that one's obviously shinier, more detailed, kind of looks like it's almost like bluish purple, whereas the prototype looks more like a classic black comic Spider-Man symbiote suit. So that's definitely unique to this game, or this build. The other thing that's unique to this build is the debug menu. And there's a lot of options in here. Like I said, we're not going to go through everything, but one of the more interesting things that I found while kind of messing around in here was the render menu, which allows you to sort of change a bunch of graphical options, anti-aliasing. You can kind of see in the left corner where the frame counter is, you're changing aliasing a little bit. And there's also an option in here called Legos, which is for culling like immediate geometry in the area, probably for testing frame rates and stuff like that. So I thought that was kind of unique. And there's a ton of other graphical options. You know, this is a warp option. This kind of lets you teleport around the city, I guess, if you need to get somewhere in the map pretty quickly. And you can kind of see in real time that it's slow to react. It almost looks like the build's frozen, but it's not. It's just loading. I'm also running this on a retail console, so and it warped me to the gray void, which is great. You know, I wasn't necessarily aiming for that, so I'm gonna try warping to in a sec. You can see try and warp somewhere closer to the city this time. But yeah, you can just see in real time it's a little slow, but I'm sure that's just because it's a prototype build. And this time it warped me right above the water, which is great. There's nothing to swing from. Movement is very limited, but it does work. You know, it does bring you in the city, which is nice. So yeah, there's plenty of options to warp there. It's kind of cool that this is in this build here. This is me showing off the different heroes that you can play as in the game, as the debug menu calls it. And this is RVB, named after the build, and it's Spider-Man's red suit. So you can see that's what his red suit looks like in the final game. Same thing, shinier, detailed. The one in the prototype's kind of like, you know, not thrown together, but hey, we just got to get something so we know it's different, and definitely early stages. It looks nice, just, you know, the final one looks better in my opinion. And this was just me kind of testing out some of the animations, you know, walking around. They're pretty much mostly ripped from Spider-Man 3, except for the combos with this model. The combos are unique, as far as I can tell, to this game. I don't think they're in Web of Shadows. I don't think they're in Spider-Man 3. So they were definitely playing like early on with we want the combat to feel different from the Treyarch game. So that's kind of unique. You can switch suits mid-combo like in the final game. It's just with the D-pad instead of the left stick. In this build, they also let you play as Spider-Man 3 red suit. And you can see these combos are just from that game, Spider-Man 3, not Web of Shadows. It's been a while since I played that, but this is how I remember the combos working in that game. So those were just brought over, and those are not the combos the same as the prototype combos. They also left the Spider-Man 3 black suit, and that one also plays identically to that game. So just wanted to show it off in case anybody was interested what the other characters in this menu were. Another one that's left over is the New Goblin. So New Goblin was a DLC character for 360, and he was included on the special edition for the PS3 version, and he's left over in here. And then Peter, who is just the normal Peter. So that was a prototype cutscene. Spidey looking at the helicarrier. Might be the same one from the full game. Not quite sure. And then this is an art test. So as you can see, there's about 5 paintings of Iron Man with what I guess is different graphical options labeled above each one. I have no idea what any of those mean. And one of them's tinted blue, so that's kind of cool, I guess. You can walk right through them. They're just kind of here in the park. You know, kind of unique, I guess. It's interesting to look at from a development perspective, that's for sure. But other than that, you know, there's not much else to see here. Just a nice picture of Iron Man. And then this is the first actual like prototype mission. So you can see the structure they have for the mission. And it starts out with asking you to save some civilians from a rooftop. So we go ahead and swing towards them. A lot of Spider-Man games have this kind of setup. I think Web of Shadows included, you know. And this is a cutscene that plays.
Spidey, help us! We need to get to that truck and get out of here. The things are everywhere. Game over, man.
So yeah, obviously you can see they're using the Venom model from Spider-Man 3 as a placeholder for the symbiotes. That's why there's like a million different Venom clones in this one scene. But yeah, they want you to rescue the civilians, so you go ahead and you drop them off from the building. So I just fast forward through that part real quick, get them all down, and then they want you to follow this car to the church or kind of escort it. And this seems to be something unique to this build. I don't remember Spider-Man 3 having a lock-on, which is kind of one of the reasons I don't like that game. But Web of Shadows did, and they made a very big deal about the lock-on. The lock-on is how you use Spider Sense to tell who's like a hidden symbiote and who's not. The lock-on's very important for like air combat in that game. So I believe this could be an early version of them testing that out. They would have you track cars and stuff like this in Web of Shadows from what I remember, so definitely interesting to see kind of in action very early on at this stage in the game. And this is, once you get the car to the church, you gotta fight off all the symbiotes. And it's been a long time since I played Spider-Man 3. I kind of remember struggling with the Venom boss at the end, and this really just feels like fighting like 10 different of those bosses all at once, which kind of sucks. I died a couple times trying to do this, and somehow in this one I made it through. I was kind of just button mashing, just hoping I wouldn't die this time. But yeah, they're no joke in this like prototype build, definitely. And then they want you to deliver an injured civilian to an extraction point, and I was on my way to do that. And then you'll see shortly the build sort of locked up on me right here. So that happens a lot. You know, it is a prototype build. This is one of the trick missions. I don't know if this is exclusive to the build, but they wanted you to kind of test out the pole swinging here. And so the camera's locked onto that light post, and you can see me attempting and failing to swing on it. There it goes. But the only problem with this mission is it seems to be broken. I swung on that one, and as you can see I just swung on the other one, and I cannot get the camera to do anything other than just stay locked onto that first one. No matter what I did, I hit like every button. I tried swinging on that one and that one. I tried starting, you can see in a second, I tried starting with the one with the yellow marker on it. Didn't do anything. So yeah, I think this mission's just kind of broken. But it's here nonetheless, so figured I'd just show it off. And this is kind of a normal like trick race mission. These are in a lot of Spider-Man games. I know Ultimate Spider-Man had a lot of these. You know, you swing through the city with a timer and you kind of get every orb as like a checkpoint. And this one, you know, it was running fine. I wasn't having any problems until you'll see here. I was about to go through this one. And the crash, it just kind of had a fatal crash, and the crash handler caught it this time. So it let me reboot the Xbox instead of just, you know, freezing. So I took the option to reboot the Xbox. This is a camera mode, and they'll kind of let you mess around with, like, if you want the camera to be stationary instead of following Spidey, you can just kind of put it there and kind of do cool poses and stuff. It's funny that this has made its way into like so many modern games now, but I believe it kind of just started as like a development tool in a lot of video games. They would like, oh, we want to take screenshots or we want to look at, you know, things up close, and it's funny now it's basically like a feature in most mainstream games. So it's kind of funny that it was in this. This is the second prototype mission, car chase / gas station. So it starts off with this guy who will come up to you and say something to you.
Dude, Spidey, some punk just came and stole my car. Do me a favor, go after him, rough him up a bit for me, yeah?
And they'll have you chase this car, and meanwhile, I don't know why I did all that, but the car will shoot out rockets, and the frame rate will chug, and the console will die. No, I'm just kidding. But the car, you know, shoots out rockets, and you can see some of these explosions. One of them is really cool. Yeah, that one is pretty awesome, just to see, you know, working in this build. But, you know, just more testing out, like, hey, can we get like some action going and have, you know, the lock-on work, and then have the combat work, and kind of an early, you know, side mission. And here's another prototype cutscene again. So the game will then, you know, it wants you to save the civilians at the gas station and beat up all the guys. I definitely was more interested in beating up the guys than saving the civilians. But yeah, kind of just testing out the combos, seeing how they're different, seeing how they respond and stuff. And eventually I did save the civilians. I don't think I got it on camera, but I did get them. And here's the red suit again. Kind of just testing, switching suits and stuff. All the animations seem the same, not like Web of Shadows where you can kind of like switch suit combos. If you switch suits mid-combo, the combos change. I think this is either me failing or me winning the mission. I'll get a mission fail in a second here, but I don't know what's going on with this slow-mo thing. Web of Shadows use slow-mo a lot to like emphasize combos or like air attacks. I don't know why this is doing it here. But yeah, I failed the mission somehow. Maybe it wasn't finished. And the last thing is something called Start the Monkey. This just mashes inputs on the screen. It just does everything. I'm not touching the controller at all. It's just doing all this. Maybe it was to test inputs. I really have no idea. There's like a timer. It says monkey time. It moves the map around and everything. This was creeping me out. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to stop that. I had enough of that. Anyway, that's everything that I found to be, you know, of interest in this build. So let me know if you thought this was interesting, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, just kind of taking a casual look at, you know, game prototypes and just showing off interesting things about them. So anyway, if you like this video, you know, thanks for watching, and I appreciate it.